Hey community group leaders and teachers, I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day. Hey, I'm excited to introduce this week's Leadership Minute. This is one more tool we can have in our tool belt to lead more effectively. Throughout the month of August, I actually want to look at different ways that we can cultivate spiritual maturity in individuals. Why spiritual maturity and why now? Well, actually, as I've been reading and praying, and you'll hear more when we get together for Leader Training Night in just a couple of weeks, Paul writes in Ephesians 4 that he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers, equipping the saints for the work of ministry, to build up the body of Christ until we all reach unity in the faith, in the knowledge of God's Son, growing into maturity with a stature measured by Christ's fullness. We're called, in any role that we play, whether we're a teacher or a pastor or an apostle or some other capacity, to equip everyone, to grow towards spiritual maturity, to reach unity with each other, but also to grow in our pursuit of God so that we can multiply our faith into other people who will multiply it into others. As community group leaders, whether we serve as a teacher, as a director, or in some other capacity, we do have the ability to help people grow towards spiritual maturity. And so I want to identify what some of those things are that we can do to cultivate maturity in others. My first tip that I want to share for this month looks at the power of an encouraging note. Whether I've led a small group, led a worship team, or even when I've been coaching leaders of small groups, one tool that I found incredibly effective is actually handwriting a note to a leader or two, just pointing out a couple areas where I see they're doing really well, and then handwriting a prayer for that leader. There's something about simply encouraging a leader in what they're doing well, or encouraging an individual follower of Jesus in what he or she is doing well, that goes a long way in their own spiritual formation. For those of you that have received notes that I've written, you know all too well the power of an encouraging note. Or maybe you've received one from a parent, from a loved one. When you get those, it fills you up with so much joy. Why wouldn't we as leaders also pass those notes on to other people to say, I see you're doing really well in these one or two areas? Just by calling that out in people, it gives them more confidence and more excitement. They want to run harder in those areas. And so my challenge is, over this month, identify one or two people that you can write an encouraging note to in your community group. Write that note and send it to them in the snail mail. As you do so, I bet you're going to see those individuals get more excited about their faith and run harder after Jesus as they grow towards spiritual maturity in Him. If you have any questions about this tip or any other Leadership Minute, please send me a text or an email. I do look forward to seeing you again soon for another round of Leadership Minute and seeing you in just a couple of weeks for our Leader Training Night. Hey, blessings, friends.